Hi, Deanna here, and we are going to talk about a spinal infection, a thoracic spinal infection, a T11 and T12, my spine. So in April began a bit of an ordeal for me. But before I tell you about the thoracic spine infection, I can't remember the name it's called. We're going to go back about four years ago. This is 2024, so that would have been 2020, just before the whole ruckus of COVID. In fact, it was about 2 months before everything got shut down. So at that time in my life, we were planning a show to perform, pole fitness show, and my daughter and I were training, working on our routine. Now my daughter tells me that due to the positioning, I needed to do my one-handed cartwheel on the other side. So not the side I'd been training, but on the other side. So I did one and my body was like, I ignored it. I did two. And my body was like, don't do another one. I didn't know why my body was saying that, but it was like, So I did a third one. It did not go over well. Yes, I landed it just fine, but somehow, some reason, that one-handed cartwheel, it felt like the muscle on my rib bones had been ripped off. It hurt so bad. I literally, for the next couple days, had to hold my ribs like this in order to be able to stand straight and take deep breaths. Did I go and see the doctor? No, I didn't. Should I have? Yeah, probably, because it was actually pretty bad. I did this injury in 2020. No, we didn't get to do the show. COVID canceled everything 3 weeks before our show. Now, since then, my ribs, these guys, have been funky with me. So if I work on back bends, they will start to hurt and make me catch my breath. And the stupidest movements will make them hurt. Last spring, we went to Arizona and I thought, okay, this is good. This will give my body a rest from pole fitness and bodybuilding and handstands. It'll give my body a rest and I can heal while we go on this holiday. What ended up happening is my ribs got worse, which was really weird, to the point that I would go to use the bathroom, like to go pee, to sit on the toilet. And when it was time for me to get up, my ribs would hurt so much, it would have me gasping to stand up from sitting on the toilet while we're on our holiday. What the hell? So I thought, this is not working. This rib pain doesn't seem to be linked to working out. We got home from that trip last year, and for some reason, my ribs got better. I don't know why. Then another time, I decided, you know what? I'm going to really start working on my back bends again. I want my bridges back. I actually had a back walkover at one point, right before I ripped the muscle off the ribs. At least that's what I think I did. Let's get this back again. Working on my back bends, and again, my ribs started hurting quite badly again. And I'm like, maybe there's a link with that. And pole fitness tended to agitate my ribs or the muscles or whatever was going on in there. I went to the doctor. Yeah, I finally went to the doctor. I'm like, something is really wrong with my ribs. So we did the ultrasound, we did the x-ray, and nothing. There was nothing showing any issues. I'm like, no, dude, there's something wrong here. So he sent me for an MRI. Now I did this MRI in April, beginning of April. The results come back and he tells me I have a bone infection in my T11 and T12. I have no idea what a bone infection is. No clue. So I'm like, no, I have a rib issue. I have nothing wrong with my spine. My spine's fine. My spine doesn't hurt. The only time my spine hurts is if I'm doing a back bend and my lower spine will start to get cranky, but not my thoracic spine. It's not my spine. He's like, you have a bone infection in T11 and T12. It's your spine. And then he went on holidays for 2 weeks. And then I started researching a little, not a lot, a little. And I went, there's no way. I do not have a bone infection in my spine. I have no pain in my spine. I have, the blood work didn't show any markers for infection in my body. I'm super healthy, no fevers, nothing to suggest I have a friggin' bone infection in my spine. So I did not go on the antibiotics that he prescribed because I wanted to talk to him some more, and surely he's mistaken. The specialist surely is mistaken. He wanted me on intravenous antibiotics for 6 weeks. That meant going to the hospital every day and getting a needle and then pumping antibiotics in me. Okay, one, I don't do antibiotics. I don't get sick. I know the damage that antibiotics does to your body. Two, I don't have a bone infection. I don't. And three, needles. I don't like needles. I don't like needles. So this was a friggin' nightmare. So no. I do not have a bone infection. So a specialist gets back from his 2 weeks of holidays, gives me a phone call to see how I'm doing with my antibiotic treatment. I'm not taking it. Why not? I'm like, are you sure I have a bone infection? And really, how serious is this? Because it's my ribs that are bothering me, not my spine. And he was not happy with me. He got me to get started on the antibiotics, and it was brutal. I'm just going to leave it at that. It was brutal. The whole needle in there, and they put it in here the first time round and just left this hollow tube in my arm, constant. And then my arm started to swell and excruciating pain. They should have pulled it out 2 days before they did. I had barely any movement. And they had to switch to the next location, and then another location, and then finally, I got a PICC line. But nobody told me about the PICC line. Nobody actually explained to me that the PICC line goes in here. So I have the scar here. It goes in, and they fish it all the way up here. And when she got here, she's like, please turn your head to the side and bend down with the chin so that I can get it around the corner. What? What? So I didn't know. They fished this whole bloody thing all the way to my heart. I did not know, or close to my heart. I did not know. It's a good thing I did not know. That's probably why they didn't really tell me what they were going to do to me, because that would have not gone well with me. Shaking, tears, hot mess. Yeah, the nurses can testify to that on the day that they could not get the PICC line into a new spot because maybe I was dehydrated, because maybe I had alcohol the night before, because maybe the pain that was going on in here was so bad. But what I haven't told you yet is that I couldn't work out. When he first told me, okay, so we're moving back to when he first told me what was wrong, which was like the beginning of April. He said, do not lift any weights, nothing heavy. You don't even want to lift a suitcase, because we were supposed to go on holidays. He's like, do not even pick up a suitcase, because your spine, it's infected, and you don't want to crush your spine. What? Crush my spine? So, no, I didn't go on the antibiotics right away, but yes, I quit compressing my spine with any sorts of weights. So we became very inventive with still continuing to lift weights, but nothing that would compress the spine. This was horrifying to me, that no pole. I was no more pole fitness, definitely no more handstands, because my legs weigh, well, from here down, that's a lot of weight. And then weights, I had to be super inventive to even do weights. So that was totally not at all the perfect. And then to top it all off, the PICC lines, all this stuff, it friggin' hurt. It hurt. And actually that was these ones. The PICC line didn't hurt, but I was told that I didn't want to have my hands up above my head. So that kind of eliminated even more stuff. So anyways, this is my ordeal that I went through this year. I ended up being on the antibiotics for 8 weeks. And after the 8 weeks, went and got another MRI, and the infection was gone and no bone damage. So he told me, still take it easy, slowly progress with the gym, but do this over the course of months. I've been a good girl since I got on the antibiotics. Okay, yeah, no, not such a good girl with the cocktails. But a good girl with the antibiotics, a good girl with not compressing my spine. Meanwhile, going back to these guys, what the hell? Why did these hurt? So the only connection I could come up with is that the 2 bottom ribs connect to the T11 and the T12. And so I was having that, I can never remember the word, radiation pain, foreign pain, you know what I mean. Still, no pain in my spine, none. So weird. Why did this pain start 4 years ago? And is there a connection between, there is a connection. This is so confusing to me. My ribs, yes, let's define that. My ribs are getting better. They're not 100%, but over the last couple months since the infection's been gone, my ribs have slowly been getting better and better. But I have not done any back bends and very minimal pole fitness. So are the ribs actually linked to the spinal infection? Or am I just being so careful in the gym and not working back bends that the ribs don't hurt? This is the very weird, confusing. Oh, and I asked the doctor, I'm like, how did I get this bone infection? How? And they were like, it's not because you injured your ribs 4 years ago. I'm like, how? What? They're like, no, it's not from your injury 4 years ago. That has nothing to do with it. Okay. They said for some reason I got a wound somehow and some bacteria got in, traveled around in my system and decided, oh, let's latch on to the T11 and to the T12 spine and infect it. I don't get it. So when I'm brave enough in the future, maybe not far future, we'll see, I'm going to work on my flipping back bends again. And we're going to see if this flares up. If this flares up again, what the hell? Do I have a bone infection again? Or is this still an issue? But thank heavens, I am back to bodybuilding. I have begun, if you've been watching my shorts, I have begun doing calisthenics. So not just handstands. I want to get muscle ups and I want to get the planches and always, I want that press to handstand so bad. So now that the ribs are not misbehaving near so bad, I've been really pushing that. So that kind of makes me scared to do back bends because I'm loving the progress I'm making in the gym, loving the muscle that I've been getting. So I'm not sure what to do about my ribs, but thank heavens the spinal infection's gone. And I finally did completely believe them that there was something wrong with my spine because I had to go to a different doctor due to a bladder infection, which I later learned is because of the antibiotics. So I went to this other doctor, not my normal doctor, and asked him, I'm like, are you sure I have a bone infection? He's like, yes. I'm like, yeah, but listen to the story. So I told him the story. I'm like, how do I have a bone infection? He's like, would you like to see the MRI scan? Yes, yes. So it took a doctor who was not my doctor and not the specialist doctor, him neither. It took this dude for my bladder infection doctor to show me my actual MRI, and whoosh, I had this beautiful, pretty little spine with its, nice white vertebrae, I suppose, and then the thin little dark strip between them. Beautiful. Ba-dum, until it got to T11 and T12. And then, holy hell, it was this black mass of 2 chunks with the line all mangled and disappeared. And I'm like, I have a bone infection. Something is definitely wrong there. So I became a believer when that doctor actually showed me the MRI. So there's my story. Still very confused. Do not understand why my ribs are still and scared to do back bends, because what if they go and will that trigger? I have no idea. If anybody else out there in the YouTube world has any clue as to what the hell, definitely leave me a message. Would love it. Anyways, thank you so much for listening to my crazy story. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.